Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. If you've been here before,
You're wrong.
if you haven't been here before, maybe this is what got you here. 2014 Can-Am Commander. I'm going to be removing the primary clutch. Really not looking forward to this. Simple reason is I have one stripped out bolt on the clutch cover, and I don't know how I'm going to get that out of there because it's at a really bad location, but primary's got to come off. I have a rattle in the primary, which I suspect is the primary, and yeah, not looking forward to this at all. There's also maintenance that the primary clutch is going to need, like greasing the one-way bearing. So if everything goes well, like it always does in this channel, I should be able to get that cover off, and I should be able to disassemble that primary clutch on the bench, show you guys, and yeah. Stick around. So maybe I'll just give you guys an idea of what kind of noise it's actually making. So I'll just start it up for you guys. And let me know if you can hear the rattling. You hear that sound? So that's not normal. So we're going to get this apart. I'm going to strip the interior. 13 bolts to remove for this cover. 8mm socket, we'll get those off. The one that I was worried about that was spinning previously, I was able to actually get it out. So I'll show you guys that. But so this cover should just pull off like so. And we'll set this aside. All right, we're in. So here's our primary clutch. Now, a lot of what I've read for the rattling comes from the actual ramps here, or these slides. So if you notice my secondary, so this secondary actually has a stud. I don't know if it's factory or if somebody actually put the stud on there, but this is not a bolt. So to remove the secondary, we have to remove the exhaust pipe here. Today I'm not going to be taking the secondary off because I don't need to. I'm mostly concerned about the primary. I've got my puller that I bought off of Royal Distributing, and I think this should all go fairly well. So let's start by getting the belt off. To do that, we need an 8mm bolt to run into one of these holes to separate the secondary, to get that off, and then we can slide the belt off there. So personally, I think it's absolute insanity that they don't include a bolt to remove your belt. How are you supposed to change a belt out in the trail if you don't have a bolt? So I have this bolt here that I found in my scrap pile, and this works perfectly to separate the secondary. It just goes into one of these holes here. That's going to thread all the way in. So you should always keep one of these with you when you're out in the trail. So if you don't have one, check your toolkit, put one in your toolkit, because that's a must. And like usual, the dog's not any help whatsoever. Right, Ash? Ash? He doesn't even know his name. Voila. All right, so we're just going to go ahead and zip off that bolt for the primary. Holding it together nice and gentle because it's spring loaded, and we want to be careful that we don't take apart, disassemble the two-way bearing on the opposite side, or the one-way bearing. We're going to slide that out, and there you go. So this is a brand new tool I bought, Royal Distributing. This is supposedly the correct puller for this Can-Am, so we'll find out in a second. Threads feel kind of sloppy. All right, now you're not supposed to use an impact on this. Aww. That was super easy, perfect tool, and again, holding the one-way bearing assembly together so it doesn't fly apart. All right, I think we're doing well. So I got my spring. That came apart really well, so I'm pretty happy with that. And here is the primary here. I'm just going to hold that together. And I suspect where most of my rattling is coming from is here. I'm just going to remove this carefully here because we don't want to damage our little buttons on the sides. I suspect where most of my rattling is coming from are these here. You can see that. Now, again, I'm not a clutch expert. I am a at-home, do-it-yourself guy. Really not. See, this one's got a little play as well. All right, so if you guys notice as well, before I pulled this apart or before I even started the video on this section here, you guys notice I marked the clutch face or the sheave, and then I marked whatever you call this piece here. And the reason I did that is what I've seen in the owner's manual, or not the owner's manual, sorry, the repair manual, is that these could be balanced or, yeah, balanced properly. And if it is misindexed, you could have a clutch vibration. Is that true? I don't know. Do I take a chance? Nope. I marked it. So now I know how it goes back together. All right, so the one-way bearing, that's this guy right here. It's going to have two little pins and a slide on it. So I'm going to remove the spacer, again, making sure you note which way it goes back on. It goes like so. And this is your bearing. So as you can see, it spins one way. And I don't think it's supposed to click like that. I don't know. And then it won't spin the opposite way. So as we pull this up, we're going to be very careful not to lose any parts. So we're just going to pull straight up on this piece here. Oh, nothing flew out. Oh, here we go. So there's one slide and one spring right there. And the other one, there is no other one. Nothing flew out. You guys saw that. What the? So somebody has been in here before. I'm missing a spring and a slide. I'm missing one of these guys right here. This little... oh, for the love of God. Well, no, definitely not in there. Looks like I'm shopping, I guess. Hey, we are back quite a few days later. New slide, new spring, and I went ahead and ordered myself, in case I have to remove the secondary, I went ahead and ordered myself a new stud kit for that secondary. I don't plan on taking the secondary off this weekend or whatever. I can't tie the machine up for too long, but these I know were important. Here's the old one here. So it looks like we have the correct parts. Again, I'm not sure what happened here or why they didn't have the proper pieces in there, but so we're going to get these parts cleaned up. I'm just going to clean up in here with just a rag and just wipe it down quickly. Then I'm going to do the same thing with the face on this side here. We'll wipe that down really quickly, and I'm going to install these parts back in the way they're supposed to go with two, because it's supposed to have two, not one, whoever was in there before, and get this side back together. All right, so I've just coated the inside of this with a little bit of white high temp grease. Not a lot, just a little bit. I've also, on my springs and my little slides here, or these little locks, I put a little dab of grease on each end just to hold everything together here so it doesn't fall apart. And now I'm going to attempt to slide this back in easily. I'm just going to grab another little dab here, especially in that slide section. There we go. And we're going to slide this over top. I'm not sure how easy this is going to be, but I'm just going to pinch those two little ramps. And there we go. So there we go. So we got our 2 ramps back in. That's really good. So I'm going to set this aside. This is done. It goes like so. That allows this to turn freely. I'm guessing that clicking noise is normal. I don't know if you guys can hear that or not, but all right. So this side of the sheave is done. So these, with the slop that are in these, it's creating that rattle. That rattle is super annoying. There are kits that you can buy for these, and I have seen guys on YouTube, I've seen guys take them apart and actually put washers or some kind of spacers in between them to stop that rattling noise. Again, this is where the noise is coming from right here, is this bolt. See that back and forth, so I have one, that one's super tight, tight, tight. That one's got a bit of slop. So does that one. So I have 3 that have slop in them. I don't think I can tighten these. I think they're bottomed out. I'll put a little wrench on it, see if I can get another thread or so, but I don't think so. Well, despite my better judgment, because good judgment on this channel just doesn't exist, I've gone ahead, I've taken one of the ramps out here, or the slides, whatever you call them. Not quite, I don't know. And sure enough, so on each side of this, you do have these little, they appear to be, I don't know if they're fiber or metal. I think they're metal washers. This goes on each side of this, and that's to take up the slack, I suppose. But here's the bolt that went through. So I just cleaned it up quickly with just a Brillo pad, because I don't want to use anything really abrasive. And I don't feel any marks or any, you know, like any wear on this actual little sleeve here. So what I've gone ahead and done is I found myself some little tiny washers. I have 3 of them that have play. So like I said, against my better judgment, I'm going to install that washer there, like so. And that should take up the slack that's in this bolt side to side. I'm really not sure why these loosen. I'm not sure. There's a little step on it right here, but if you guys can see that. So I'm going to reassemble this right now, and we'll see if that gets rid of that slack. So I've inserted my washer onto this side right here. There's the washer. Okay, well, we got this done. That I'm very pleased with. Again, I'm going to clean this sleeve here, this bearing, this sheave, if you want to call it. I'm going to clean the bottom one as well. They feel nice and smooth. Everything looks good, so we're going to set that aside for now. All right, so next we're just going to be inspecting the rollers for damage. And these all look really good. And we're going to inspect them for good operation and rolling here. Now, it's taking me everything right now to resist the urge to spray brake cleans in there to clean that up. I really want to clean them up. They're not gritty or anything, but I don't understand why you don't lube stuff in a clutch, honestly. It's kind of weird to me, but these are all rolling nicely. I'm just going to blow them out with compressed air. And yeah, these are really nice. No damage to them at all. Again, we're going to clean up this bushing inside there. And we're going to just clean up our buttons on the sides. And let me just go blow that out. Alright, so we just blew this out. An amazing amount of belt dust came out of these rollers. So now they seem to roll a lot less crunchy and really nice. So I'm super happy with that. Clean these buttons up, just wipe them down. Again, I'm resisting the urge to use any cleaner or brake cleans or any of that stuff. Just want to make sure we have nice clean surfaces for everything to go back together. And we will grab our half over here. And again, the rollers roll onto these sections right here. And I did index the way it goes right there. There's my mark. I'm just going to find my mark on my other side here. There it is right there. And so we are going to drop these back down after we clean up. I'm going to clean these up a little bit right here. Yeah, I'm going to clean these up right here. I'm just going to clean up the side surfaces right here where the slides go up and down. Alright, I'm also going to give this a little blow with the blow gun and see how much brake dust or belt dust I can get out of this guy. I'm also just going to wipe down the roller ramps. I also had a squeaking noise or a weird noise on deceleration. And deceleration uses that one-way bearing. From what I've read, it uses that one-way bearing to use the engine torque or the engine speed to slow the machine down. And that's the reason for that one-way bearing is what I'm told. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments down below, but that's what I have been reading anyway. And I suspect that missing that one slide probably was the issue caused there. Here's my mark, and here's my other mark right here. Drop that down really carefully. Perfect. Clean that bushing. All right. So this, I believe, is ready. The buttons are good. Everything slides up and down nicely. Very nice. Okay. This one here, we're going to do the same thing with the Brillo pad. Let me get my mess out of here. What did I do with the pad? Okay. And I think we are ready to reinstall and keep our fingers crossed because I have no idea what I'm doing. All right. Okay, so we just slid our sheave onto the back. And next we have our spring. And I've gone ahead, I've used a little dab of green Loctite on the actual bolt. And we'll be sliding this back on. Line that up. Now this is a little bit of a pain in the butt. I've seen guys use bars and push it in. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to slide my bolt in as far in as I can. Make sure my spring is seated. And I'm just going to push in until I can get some thread. So I just locked it a couple threads. I'm just going to push till the bottom's out and then hand tighten. Like so. So now that's installed. So now we have to torque this bolt here. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to torque this bolt to 87 foot-pounds. I don't have a clutch holding tool, guys, so I saw this online where a guy used a ratchet strap, ratcheted it, wrapped it around, hooked it right here, and then I'm hooking this on the frame down below. Get this torqued down to the proper spec, and hopefully this works. So far, so good. And there we go. That is my proper torque. 87 or 89 foot-pounds. I forget what I set it at. 87 foot-pounds. Now the fun part will be trying to remove this, I think. Or not, that was easy. Yeah, so that worked super well. Wow. Thank you, YouTube. All right, so we're gonna draw this bolt back in. I always loosen this bolt off just not to keep the pressure on the spring while I'm working on the vehicle. You'll notice as well the belt is directional. It will have marks on it on which way it goes. Oh, there's our arrows there. So it rotates this way, and that's the way we're going to put the belt back on. Belt is removed. I'll just rotate this until our secondary closes properly again. And there we are. There we go. All right, now I'm going to start it up and we're going to see if we got any noise. I still have a ticking noise. It's a lot quieter than it was, but now I notice that this one here, this one has a little bit of slop in it. So I might just, right inside here, I'm just going to remove the nut, put the washer, and then put a little bit of Loctite on there, and we'll see what that does. one thing that is a little unfortunate in all of this is that the clutch is a lot quieter than it was, but it still does have a click to it. Now that is what I believe, based on what I've seen and read, is the one-way bearing clicks when you roll it the one way, and it locks fine on the other side. So it is a lot quieter. I haven't got the cover back on yet to see exactly how much quieter it is. The clutch itself, the primary, is still making some noise. Apparently that rattle is normal. I mean, to me it's not normal, but I have no play that I can see anywhere in the clutch. So I'm just going to have to assume that that's the one-way bearing clicking. And it's kind of unfortunate that I didn't, when I had it apart, I should have greased those one-way bearings. They felt nice and smooth because they just pop out with a clip. I should have showed you guys that. I'll probably make another video on that. Secondary I didn't take off because, again, that's a big job, and because I got to remove the exhaust pipe, and I didn't feel like doing that today. So I'm going to button this back up. I'm going to go for a ride, and I'll let you guys know how it sounds and feels. Well, guys, that is it. Took it for a ride. Couple of things I need to make note of. Number one is that low creaking noise I had on deceleration is gone. So I'm going to assume that was the one-way bearing that needed grease. Again, I didn't grease the two outside bearings. I just lubed the slides on the inside because I still had nice free movement. I should have popped them out, but I didn't do it. You know, it takes 2 seconds to take the clutch apart. Just taking the housing off is the longest part, really. Number two, clutch engagement, and this is in all honesty, is a lot quicker than it was. So it's engaging at a lot less RPM. Now, I don't know if this is due to cleaning everything and it's sliding freely and not needing as much centrifugal force to engage, but what that does in turn is engaging at the proper RPM. I don't get that heavy lash or that heavy clunk when you go to take off, which I had mitigated by greasing the splines on the rear drive shaft. That really helped too. But all in all, I am super pleased. You guys saw what I did on the bench. Was not difficult. The only specialty tool you need for that is the clutch puller if you're going to pull the sheave. I didn't have to pull it. If you're just going to service the one-way bearing, you can do it right on the machine. So there you go. Some metric tools, a little bit of YouTube videos, and a lot of luck. And we've accomplished what we set out to do, was to get rid of that creaking noise. Now I'm confident that my primary clutch is good for the season. We'll be able to get out there hunting and stuff like that. So if you guys like this, I know you guys like the Can-Am stuff. You like the UTV side-by-side stuff. I wish I could do more, but it doesn't break that often. Don't forget to subscribe. If you like the video, click that little like thingamabobber. It super helps me out, really. I'm approaching 1,000 followers or 1,000 subs, and I am super pumped. Want to thank you guys for that. Thanks for following along, and we'll see you guys next time.